Billy Joel, the piano man's epic journey. Early life, a kid from Long Island. William Martin, Joel, better known as Billy Joel, was born on May 9, 1949, in the Bronx, New York, into a family shaped by music and struggle. His father, Howard Joel, was a Jewish immigrant from Nuremberg, Germany, who escaped Nazi persecution in the 1930s. Howard was a trained classical pianist, filling their small apartment with the sounds of Mozart and Beethoven. Billy's mother, Rosalind, a Brooklyn native with English roots, loved Broadway show tunes and encouraged her son's creativity. The family, including Billy's older sister Judith, moved to Hicksville, Long Island, when Billy was a toddler, seeking a suburban life. Hicksville, with its tree-lined streets and modest homes, became the backdrop of Billy's childhood. Life wasn't easy for the Joels. When Billy was 8, his parents divorced, a heartbreak that left Rosalind to raise 2 children on a secretary's salary. Money was tight, and the family relied on thrift stores and neighbors' kindness. Despite the hardship, Rosalind insisted Billy take piano lessons, starting at age 4. At first, he resisted the rigid structure of classical music, preferring the raw energy of Elvis Presley and Chuck Berry. But his mother's determination paid off. Billy would sit at the family's upright piano, mimicking radio hits and inventing his own melodies. "I didn't know I was good," he later said, "but I knew I loved it." Growing up in Hicksville, Billy felt like an outsider. His Jewish heritage and small stature made him a target for bullies. To cope, he turned to boxing at 14, joining a local gym and competing in Golden Gloves matches. He won 22 bouts, showing grit and quick reflexes, but a broken nose in his final fight ended his boxing days. Music became his true outlet. At 14, he saw the Beatles on The Ed Sullivan Show in 1964, a moment that lit a fire in him. "I thought, that's what I want to do," he recalled. He joined his first band, The Echoes, playing covers of British invasion hits at school dances and local bars. These early gigs, often in smoky basements, taught him how to connect with an audience. Billy's childhood was full of small, vivid moments that shaped his music. He'd ride his bike to the local record store, spending his allowance on 45s by Ray Charles, the Rolling Stones, and Motown artists. He'd listen to his mother sing show tunes while cooking dinner, absorbing the storytelling of Broadway. His neighborhood, filled with factory workers and veterans, gave him a window into working-class life. These experiences, divorce, bullying, and a love for music, became the heart of his songwriting, giving his lyrics a raw, relatable honesty. Education, learning beyond the classroom. Billy Joel was never a model student. At Hicksville High School, he was bored by textbooks and lectures, often doodling song lyrics in the margins of his notebooks. His teachers saw his intelligence, but couldn't keep his attention. "School felt like a trap," he once said. Instead, he spent hours practicing piano, teaching himself to play by ear. He'd skip classes to rehearse with his band or work odd jobs to help his mother pay bills. By his teens, he was playing late-night gigs at Long Island bars, sneaking in despite being underage. His double life took a toll. Billy was often exhausted, dozing off in class after playing until 2 a.m. His grades suffered, and he clashed with teachers who didn't understand his passion. In 1967, during his senior year, he made a life-changing decision. He skipped a crucial English exam to play a gig, missing his chance to graduate. "I thought music was my future," he said. It was a bold move, but it showed his belief in himself. Years later, in 1992, Billy returned to Hicksville High to finish his diploma. He submitted essays to make up for missed credits, and the principal handed him his diploma in a special ceremony. The crowd cheered for the hometown hero who'd already conquered the world. Billy's real education came from life. Playing in bars, he learned to read a room, when to speed up a song or charm a tough crowd. He studied his idols, from Bob Dylan's poetic lyrics to James Brown's soulful energy, blending their styles into his own. He worked odd jobs, shucking oysters, painting houses, even cleaning boats to support his family. These jobs gave him a deep respect for working-class struggles, a theme that runs through songs like Allentown and Movin' Out. His lack of formal education never held him back. Instead, it freed him to learn from the world around him. Early career, grit, flops, and a breakthrough. Billy's music career began in the late 1960s, a time of grit and hustle. At 16, he joined the Hassles, a Long Island band that played soul rock covers. They signed with United Artists and released 2 albums, The Hassles, 1967, and Hour of the Wolf, 1968, but both flopped commercially. Billy, just 19, was frustrated but undeterred. In 1970, he formed Attila, a heavy metal duo with drummer John Small. Their self-titled album was a bold experiment, but critics panned it, and Billy later called it a disaster. The band's collapse was personal, too. Billy had an affair with Small's wife, Elizabeth Weber, causing a rift. The failure left him broke and heartbroken. In 1971, Billy signed a solo deal with Family Productions, a small label with big promises. His debut album, Cold Spring Harbor, was rushed and poorly produced, with a mastering error that made his voice sound like a chipmunk. The album sold poorly, and the label's bad contract left Billy in debt, owing royalties for years. Feeling trapped, he fled to Los Angeles in 1972, using the stage name Bill Martin to avoid his contract. He played piano at the Executive Room, a dive bar filled with dreamers and drunks. Those nights inspired Piano Man, a song about the bar's colorful characters, a washed-up singer, a lonely waitress, a lovesick sailor. "I was one of those people," Billy said, "trying to make it." His luck changed in 1973 when Columbia Records heard Piano Man and offered him a new deal. The album Piano Man wasn't a blockbuster, peaking at number 27 on the Billboard 200, but the title track became a radio hit, reaching number 25. Its vivid storytelling, about a pianist playing for tips, struck a chord. Billy moved back to New York, ready to build on this success. His next album, Street Life Serenade, 1974, had modest hits like The Entertainer, but it lacked the spark of his later work. Turnstiles, 1976, was a turning point, with songs like New York State of Mind and Say Goodbye to Hollywood showing his growing confidence. The album didn't chart highly, but it earned critical praise and set the stage for his breakout.
Rise to stardom, the golden era. Billy Joel's career skyrocketed with The Stranger, 1977, a game-changer that made him a star. Produced by Phil Ramone, the album blended pop polish with raw emotion. Hits like Just the Way You Are, written for Elizabeth Weber, Movin' Out, Anthony's Song, Only the Good Die Young, and Scenes from an Italian Restaurant dominated radio. The album sold over 10 million copies, earning diamond status, and stayed on the Billboard 200 for years. At 28, Billy was selling out arenas and won 2 Grammys for Just the Way You Are, Record and Song of the Year. Fans loved his mix of catchy melodies and honest lyrics about love, ambition, and life's struggles. The late 1970s and 1980s were Billy's peak. 52nd Street, 1978, leaned into jazz with hits like My Life, Big Shot, and Honesty. It won 2 Grammys, including Album of the Year, and was the first album released on CD in 1982. Glass Houses, 1980, embraced rock and new wave, with It's Still Rock and Roll to Me hitting number 1 and You May Be Right showcasing his edge. The album went multi-platinum, proving his versatility. Songs in the Attic, 1981, was a live album of early tracks, like Captain Jack, showing his stage energy. It introduced fans to his pre-fame work. Climbing to number 8, The Nylon Curtain, 1982, was his most ambitious album, tackling heavy themes, like the Vietnam War in Goodnight Saigon and factory closures in Allentown. Critics praised its depth, and it reached number 7 on the charts. An Innocent Man, 1983, was a joyful tribute to 1960s doo-wop and soul, inspired by his romance with supermodel Christie Brinkley. Hits like Uptown Girl, Tell Her About It, and The Longest Time were inescapable, with the album peaking at number 4. The Bridge, 1986, featured A Matter of Trust and a duet with Ray Charles, Baby Grand. Stormfront, 1989, delivered We Didn't Start the Fire, a number 1 hit that raced through history, and I Go to Extremes. River of Dreams, 1993, his last pop album, included the number 3 hit, The River of Dreams. Over his career, Billy sold over 150 million records, with 33 top 40 hits and 6 Grammys. His live shows were electric. In 1987, he toured the Soviet Union, a rare feat during the Cold War. At a Moscow show, he flipped his piano in protest when security hassled fans, a moment that made headlines. I wanted them to have fun, he said. His concerts, from small clubs to stadiums, showed his charisma and connection with fans. By the 1990s, he was a global icon, touring with Elton John in sold-out face-to-face shows. Personal milestones: love, loss, and family. Billy's personal life was a roller coaster. His first marriage to Elizabeth Weber, who became his manager, began in 1973. Elizabeth's business skills helped his career, but their 1982 divorce was bitter, complicated by financial disputes. In 1982, a motorcycle accident on Long Island crushed his left wrist, nearly ending his ability to play. After multiple surgeries and grueling therapy, he returned to the stage saying, "I wasn't going to let it stop me." The recovery tested his resilience but strengthened his resolve. In 1983, Billy met Christie Brinkley in St. Bart's. Their romance, sparked by Billy playing piano at a resort bar, inspired Uptown Girl. They married in 1985 on a yacht in New York Harbor, a glamorous event covered by tabloids. Their daughter, Alexa Ray Joel, born in 1985, inherited her father's musical talent and later pursued a singing career. Billy and Christie's marriage ended in 1994, but they stayed close for Alexa's sake. "She's still family," Billy said of Christie. Billy's battles with depression and alcoholism were public struggles. In the early 2000s, he entered rehab multiple times, facing his demons head-on. He spoke openly about mental health, rare for a star of his era. "If I can get through it, so can you," he told fans. In 2009, he met Alexis Roderick, a former Morgan Stanley executive. They married in 2015 at his Long Island estate, with New York Governor Andrew Cuomo officiating. Their daughters, Della Rose, 2015, and Remy Ann, 2017, brought new joy to Billy's life at 66. He embraced fatherhood, often seen taking his girls to school or the beach near his Oyster Bay home. Billy's love for Long Island never faded. He runs a boat shop, 20th Century Cycles, and rides his motorcycle along coastal roads. These routes keep him grounded, a contrast to his rock star life. His personal milestones, marriages, fatherhood, recovery, mirror the highs and lows of his songs, making him relatable to millions. Challenges: overcome, rising above the odds. Billy faced countless hurdles. His early career was plagued by a predatory contract with Family Productions, which took most of his royalties. He fought legal battles to break free, a process that drained him financially and emotionally. "I felt like I was working for nothing," he said. The music industry's pressure to produce hits was relentless. After the Nylon Curtain's serious tone, critics accused him of chasing trends with an innocent man's retro sound. Billy defended his choices. "I write what I feel." His 1982 accident was a low point. Doctors warned he might never play piano again, a devastating blow for a man whose identity was tied to music. Months of therapy and sheer willpower got him back on stage. His struggles with addiction were another battle. In 2002 and 2005, he entered rehab, facing public scrutiny but refusing to hide. "I'm human," he said. His openness helped destigmatize mental health issues, inspiring fans to seek help. The 1990s brought new challenges. As grunge and hip-hop dominated, some critics called Billy's music dated. He stayed true to his style, focusing on live shows rather than chasing trends. In 1993, he stopped recording pop albums, a bold move. "I said what I needed to say," he explained. Instead, he composed classical music, releasing Fantasies and Delusions in 2001. The album showed his versatility, though it puzzled some fans. Through every setback, bad contracts, injuries, addiction, criticism, Billy's resilience shone through. Contributions to music and community. Billy Joel's music changed the industry. His blend of pop, rock, jazz, and classical influences created a sound that was both accessible and sophisticated. Songs like Piano Man, Scenes from an Italian Restaurant, and Vienna are storytelling masterpieces, capturing universal emotions. His lyrics, drawn from personal and observed experiences, resonate with listeners of all ages. He influenced artists like Elton John, Tori Amos, and even modern pop stars like Adele, who admire his honesty and craft. His live performances are a cornerstone of his legacy. In 2014, he began a residency at Madison Square Garden, performing monthly to sold-out crowds. By 2025, he'd played over 150 shows, a record for any artist. His concerts are marathons of hits, with Billy's humor and piano skills front and center. Fans share stories of crying during Vienna or dancing to Uptown Girl. His 1987 Soviet Union tour broke cultural barriers, bringing rock to a closed-off nation. He donated profits from those shows to Soviet children's hospitals, a gesture of goodwill. Billy's philanthropy is extensive. He co-founded the Long Island Music Hall of Fame to support young musicians. He's donated to environmental causes like preserving Long Island's oyster beds and veterans groups inspired by Goodnight Saigon. His concerts often raise funds for local charities, reflecting his working-class roots. He's mentored artists, including his daughter Alexa, and taught masterclasses at universities, sharing his knowledge. His boat shop employs local workers, boosting his community. Lasting impact, a voice for the ages. Billy Joel's legacy is his ability to speak to the heart. His songs about waitresses, factory workers, lovers, and dreamers give voice to ordinary lives. Piano Man is a cultural anthem. Covered by artists from Garth Brooks to K-pop stars, his music appears in films like Bohemian Rhapsody and TV shows like The Office, proving its timelessness. In 1999, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and in 2013, he received the Kennedy Center Honors, a nod to his cultural impact. His authenticity sets him apart. By sharing his struggles, divorce, addiction, self-doubt, he made vulnerability a strength. Fans relate to his honesty, seeing their own lives in his songs. His refusal to follow trends kept him relevant. When peers chased new sounds, Billy stuck to his piano, delivering performances that feel like conversations. His Madison Square Garden residency, ongoing in 2025, draws fans from teens to grandparents, a testament to his universal appeal. At 76, Billy shows no signs of slowing down. He hints at new music, possibly classical, and continues select tours. His Long Island home, filled with family and memories, keeps him grounded. For a kid who once played to empty bars, Billy Joel's journey is one of talent, grit, and heart. His songs, like old friends, remind us to chase dreams, face struggles, and find joy in the music of life.